Finally, a way for beekeepers to deal with all those queen problems that you have all year long. I've been talking about queen rearing in all my videos recently, and today I'm going to wrap it up with some final thoughts on helping you to understand how to raise your own queen. So be sure to watch this video all the way through. Got a lot of important tips as we wrap up queen rearing. Now, I want you to know that I've been telling you how easy it is to raise queens, and it is easy. There are many different ways that you can raise queens. The method that I'm showing you is a way that I started doing it and really have enjoyed it. But you might find a different method and a different way that maybe you enjoy more, and hey, all the more power to you. But I'm telling you what I know. That's all I can do is tell you what works for me and what I like to do. But by all means, I'm not trying to say this is the only way to do it. Also, while this is something that I'm saying is easy to do, don't misunderstand me and think that it's not without its challenges. I think I've said throughout my series here that all beekeeping things come with challenges, and you have to work your way through problems, solve problems. Remember, I'm always saying that beekeepers, we don't have to have resources, we just have to be resourceful. Now, the other day when I talked about grafting and how many of these grafts that you can put on a cell bar frame and put in your operation, you could do 45. Remember, I said you could do 45, and I kind of did the numbers on how much money you could make. I just want to clarify and let you know that when you're grafting, when you're first starting out, and I think I've said it before, but in case you've missed it or I didn't say it, you got to be sure you understand there's always a learning curve. So I don't want you to think that you go out there and you graft maybe 45 grafts and only half of them take. And so, instead of having 45 queens out of all those grafts that you did, you only have about 22. So I want you to understand that all of us, including me, when I first started, it was very difficult for me to get my grafting down. It took me not a long time, but a couple of weeks of trial and error to finally figure out how to graft successfully. So everybody that's a good grafter usually does have somewhere around a 75 to 80% success rate. So there is that room of, if you want 50 queens, you're going to have to graft maybe 70 queens to make sure that if you have a 10 or 20% out, you're going to be okay. I just want to clarify that I'm not saying it's all a bed of roses. There have been many times that I've shared with you stories where my timing was off and one of my queens got out and killed 59 other queens. I've been clear about sharing that with you. But all that aside, we know that. You're smart enough to know that even though this is an easy thing to learn, it's an easy thing to do, there's always a chance for pain and constant uncertainty and constant work. That's just the way life is, okay? We're dealing with livestock. Livestock, bees, animals don't always do what we want them to do. I think I've made that clear, but I want to clarify that. So let's back up and take a 1 mile view of raising queens. Let's just look down on the whole thing. What does it really involve? Remember, we start out with a good colony that has a good queen that we love. We graft larvae, 1-day-old larvae from her, and we move those larvae into our queen cups on our cell bar frame, and the little cups there, either wax or you want to buy the plastic ones. I showed you how you can make your own wax ones. Now we move those over to a starter hive with nurse bees only, no queen, no brood, just honey and pollen. I explained that in a previous video. Please don't ask me to explain that in the comments. Back up and watch my series here or buy my online queen rearing course. But once they're in that starter hive for 24 hours, then those grafts are well fed. Some wax starts to be added to the cells there, the cups. And then after 24 hours, you move them over to a finishing hive, which is really a hive with 2 deeps, and you put a queen excluder between the 2 deeps and move the queen down below. And then you put your finishing hive in the middle of the top deep. The queen can't get up there. That finishing hive will continue to feed all the larvae in those queen cups until about day 8 when they cap them over and raise them out. About day 13 or 14 or 15, that's when you want to move those out to individual places. Those queens have to be, they have to emerge in their own hive or nucleus, mating nook, whatever, or else they'll kill each other. So you need to separate them before they emerge. Now, if you want to raise 45 queens, you're going to need 45 places to put those queen cells once day 13 or 14 hits. That's what I love to do. You know, you have 40, 50, 100. But if you just want to make 2 queens, I've showed you and told you, you only need to leave them in your starter hive and then separate them out. You only need a couple of nukes to put them in, mating nukes, so they can go out and get mated. So it depends on how many you want to raise, but yes, you're going to need mating nukes for every queen that you want to sell. And I showed you in my last video what some of my mating nukes look like. Let me show you again here. But you can see here, there are three frame mating nooks sitting in one area. One of them has like a triangle or something on the front here. These are ones that I make very simply. I made these out of wood, a metal top that I make, and I fasten it where it's spring tension so I can take it off and on easily. And so once you place your queen cells in these mating nooks, and those queens will just fly out on their own when the weather's good. They will mate with 20 or so drones. And they'll come back and start laying. You let them lay a frame of eggs. You evaluate the brood after 8 or 12 days after they've laid. See if the cap brood really looks good. If it does, that queen is good to go to be sold or used someplace. So that's kind of a bird's eye, a bee's eye view of how to raise your own queens. Now, certainly we can drill down all day long into things like, what about drones? Some of you have asked me about drones. What if I don't have enough drones in my area? You know what? I've talked to a lot of beekeepers about this, and yeah, you can live in places where maybe your drone population is low, and so when the queens go out to mate, maybe they have trouble finding drone congregation areas where all the drones are hanging out, waiting to mate with a virgin queen. But I've never had a problem. I have 2 or 3 locations that I raise my queens in, and in all places, my queens are mated really well, really fast, not an issue. So bees in nature are really out there. We have a lot of feral hives. We have a lot of hives that are out there producing drones. And so, but if you do want to produce your own drones, if you do want to make drones, there is a way that you can have mother drone hives that are basically more drone populated. You can use some green drone comb to raise drones, and sometimes you can place them around your apiary if you have a lot of room. Place them out at 2 or 3 miles out or a mile out at the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6, 9 o'clock positions. Ask different people in those areas if you can put a hive there and let those be some drones that you're actually producing. You can even do it in such a way where you can manipulate the genetics of those drones, making sure the drones from those hives aren't related to the queens that you're producing. But if you get all into that, it gets really complicated. And for the backyard beekeeper, I think that's really more than you want to chew off. I think you just need to go simply the way I'm instructing you. Learn the art and the joy of producing queens yourself for you, for your operation. You probably won't need more than 5 or 10 a year. And so you don't even hardly need a finishing hive. You can just let them expand out and be raised in your starter hive, as I showed you in my previous videos. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of wrap this series up that you've all told me about. I know you're going to have a ton of questions because this is a very interesting subject of queen rearing. And I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can on my YouTube channel here, but I can't get to all of them, of course. And some of it is very complicated, and I don't want to drill down too much in the comments. So just don't be offended if I can't answer and drill down into all your comments, all your questions. If you want to take my online queen rearing course, this will be what you need to accelerate your ability to get ready for spring and start raising queens. It will help you a lot for sure. Guys, I'm getting ready to buzz out for Hive Life. I'm packing my car. My family's getting ready to head down there. And so we're going to enjoy time away while some of my staff keeps things running here at the bee farm. But wow, are we looking forward to Hive Life? And I'm excited. I'm leaving in the morning at 6 a.m., pulling in down there about 5 o'clock tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. Celebrated my play button. You can watch the last video where I received that award from YouTube. I don't have it with me here because I'm taking it to Hive Life and it's already packed away. Sorry about that, but we're going to make a special way where you can see that in the future. If you didn't see us open the silver play button in our last video, take a look right here. You'll enjoy this video. Also, this video is going to be helpful for any of you that are first starting out in beekeeping, or maybe you're an experienced beekeeper and you need to level up your game. Take a look at this video. I'll see you over there.